data. So usually this sort of data is in like tables and things like that. So we need to be able to find the mean, the mode, and the median from something in a table, which means there's a lot more scores than if it was just a list of scores. And you don't want to have to list out, 50 scores just because you don't know how to do it from a table, okay? So let's have a look at, well, I'll use some easy examples to start with. So for example, it might say X. Now X just means score, okay? Might say X and also F. What does that F mean? Frequency. Okay, so anytime you see an F like that, it means frequency. X in a table like this means the score. So then it might say something like this. We'll go in order. I need you guys to make sure you leave a space on the right-hand side and a space below. So this is what you might get. And from here, you're going to be asked to find the mean, the mode, and the median. Now, the mode's pretty easy. Where's the mode? Good. Okay, so it's the one which is most frequently occurring. And where most people go wrong is that they actually say the mode is 8. Why do you think they say the mode is 8? Because they see 8. 8's the biggest number. Why is it not 8 and it's 5? Good. And the 5 is occurring 8 times. There's nothing actually to do with 8 there. It's just 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay, so the score, the actual mode is 5. Pretty easy, right? Okay, median. This is where it's really important that we use that formula I told you about yesterday, because otherwise it's really hard to sort of count into the middle because there's different numbers in a table. So this is where that formula becomes a bit more important. So we need to know the sum of the frequencies. How many frequencies are there? 15. All right, so our median is the 15 plus 1 divided by 2, so it's the 8th score. The median is not 8, it's the 8th score. So now if we start from here, this is the first score. This is the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth score. 7th, 8th, 9th. So where's the 8th score? In at 5 as well. Okay? So the median equals 5. Everyone good with that? Awesome. Okay, so the mean is a little bit harder. It's pretty easy, but we've just got to do another process. So we need to find the sum of the scores, and we need to divide by the number of scores. Do we have either of those yet, Mitchell? Good. We have the sum of the scores down here, right? How could we... Oh, no, hang on, sorry. No, we don't. We have the number of scores here. How could we find the sum of the scores? Yeah? Good. There's 1, 3. So if we times them together, the sum of that is 3. There's 5 4s. So if we times them together, they're going to add up to 20. Okay? So we need to have this column here, which is x times by the frequency. And we end up with 3, 20, 5 times 8, 40, 6 times 0, 0, 7 times 1, 7. All right, so what's that equal? 70. So those two numbers are what we need to use to find the mean. Okay, so we have to do those couple of extra bits. So our mean equals 70 over 15. What's wrong? All right, 70 divided by 15? 4.6 recurring. Does that look okay? Does that look about right? Is it in the middle? It's close to the middle. So, yeah. All right. Any questions about that? Good. Let's go move on then. The next sort of data we have in a table, has everyone written that down? is in class intervals, which means it's like grouped data. So when we have lots and lots of numbers, so for example, if we were going to weigh every person in the school, which is like 1,400 people, and we want to tally all their weights, we wouldn't put every single person's weight down, would we? Because you can't, all your stats, it's too hard. It's too time consuming. What would we do instead? You'd group them, okay? You'd go 40 to 50, 50 to 60, and so on. And then you'd do a tally for everyone. Okay? So that's what we do when we have lots of numbers. And so you could get a table which looks a bit like this. Can I move on? So grouped class intervals. Okay, are groups of data. They must always be the same size. So you can't suddenly have one group which is 0 to 10 and then one which is 11 to 53, you know, so it has to be the same size. They must always be the same size. Now, I'm going to write this in red. Don't write it. What's wrong with this table here? What's wrong with that table there? The first one has how many numbers in it? 11, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many numbers does the second one have? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and so on. All right, what's wrong? So that they can't be used as class intervals, okay? What's wrong with this one? What's wrong with it? Good. So if there was a score of 20, where would it go? It could be here or it could be here, okay? We need to make sure that every number, we know it only goes in one place, all right? Now, there's a couple of different ways of writing class intervals in the right way. So I'm going to show you them. So now you can write these down, okay? So examples. 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, 15 to 19. Are they okay? Why? Good. They've all got the same amount. They've all got 5 numbers involved, okay? Where would 4.7 go? You would round it to which one? 4.7 rounds up to 5, okay? So you can round those numbers which are in between with the decimals. Where would 4.3 go? Good. And what about negative 0.3? It would round to 0. Okay? So pretty much all of these intervals actually round like half. It actually goes to halfway each way. Okay? All right. That way most people understand. This is where people get a bit more confused. Well, then we'll need another whole set of intervals. Negative 0.5, we'd need to have negative, so on. Fun? 4.5. What does 0.5 round? What does 5 rounds? Up. Not either. Up. 0 to 4 round down. 5 to 9 round up. All right. This one is where people get confused, and this was similar to what was in your test just before, and people got confused with it as well. All right. You see something like this. I always write it wrong, so I just have to think about this for a second. Yes. That's the bit you need to know. Yes. Sorry guys, that 1 should be a 0. Can you just change into a 0? Sorry. Alright, with this one, where would the number 5 go? It would go in the second one. It wouldn't go in the first one. Why not? Good. This here is saying x, or the score, is less than 5. It doesn't say it's less than or equal to 5. It says it's less than 5. This one here says it's 5 or more. It's equal to or greater than 5. So 5 has to go in here. Where would 4.9 go? In the first one, because that's less than 5, right? Okay, so these two things, these two sets of numbers are not saying the same thing, because in this one, 4.9 would go into the second column, because it rounds. Okay, so you need to see the difference between them. This one is saying up to 4.999999999 goes in the top. Okay, whatever. 5 goes in the next one. Up to 9.99999. Yeah? Pardon? You don't need to round because you've got the definite answers. Yeah. Can everyone see that? All right. When we looked at our mean, mode, median before, we had to multiply our score by our frequency to find this sum of our scores. Yeah? How are we going to do that when we've got a range of numbers like this? Find say it louder. The middle number. We find what's called the midpoint and we use that. So we assume that all of the numbers in these here, the midpoint would be, what's halfway between 0 and 4? 2. And you can find that by going 0 plus 4 divided by 2. 5 plus 9 divided by 2 is 7, 12, 17. What about this one? Halfway between 0 and 5? 2.5, 5 and 10, 7.5, 12.5, 17.5. Oh, sorry, that's. Can everyone see that? Whenever we have group data, you must find the midpoint. Can you write it down, please? Why else do you think you might need to find the midpoint? To get the mean? What else do you use with this sort of stuff? We haven't used it yet. I told you all have to have it for the whole term. When you put it into your statistics in your calculator, which we're going to learn about later, you have to actually put in the midpoint. Because if we put in 0-4, what number is that going to turn into? -4, because it's just saying 0 take 4. This number is going to become -4, okay? And so it doesn't help us. So in our calculator, we also have to use the midpoint. So this is why midpoint is really, really important, all right? Okay, so we're going to do an example of doing the same thing we did earlier, but this time with group data. All right, these are some words you guys will see. The mean is a number. The median, we actually in this group would find the median group. So we're finding the group which the median's in. The question everyone seems to get mixed up in is when we say modal class. What do you think that means? Most frequently occurring class, so that group which the mode is in. Okay, so for any group data, you find the group for the median, you find the group for the mode, but you find the actual number for the mean, but it's an estimate. Why do you think this group data isn't as accurate as if we used all the numbers? We don't know. And in one of the waste questions a couple of years ago, there was this data, it was about rainfall, and it had 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 3, and then there was like 20, 30, 40, those sort of numbers. So there's heaps of zeros, and then it had a few bigger numbers. And it put it into group data. Don't write this down. It put it into group data like this. It was like mils, whatever it is. Hang on, it shouldn't be 0. 9. Something like this. And so then it had heaps in here. It had some in here or something like that. And so we then, when we put this information in, what did we find? We found the midpoint, didn't we? So we said that these numbers were all 4.5. Even though, what did I just say most of the numbers were? Most of them were 0. Okay? And so the mean, when we found it from a table, was a lot higher than the mean when we found it from the actual numbers. And the question actually said, why was the mean so different? Why was the mean so different? Because we assumed that all 12 of these were 4.5 when the majority of them were actually 0. Okay? So group data is easier and it's more time efficient, but it's not as accurate. Everyone understand that? Because they can ask you questions about accuracy with this. All right, that's not going to be our example. I did say not to write it down. All right, let's try a different one. So, still find the mean, mode, median, modal class, but we're just going to use a different number. Let's trace. Can you write it down, please? So, can we answer any of the questions yet? Mode, so what's the modal class? 10 to 19. What else could we find? Yep, so what's the sum? 13. What else could we do? Good, we need to find the midpoint. Okay, so I'm just going to put it here. You can put it on the left-hand side if you've got room, but it doesn't matter. So the midpoint is 4.5. Thank you. All right, what do we then need to be able to find? Good, so f, and this time instead of x, we're timesing it by the midpoint, which I'm going to need your help with. 13.5? Yeah, good. I just want to check it in the calculator. Joe, could you check it in your calculator, please? Sam? Yeah, because we don't have a score. We've got a range of scores, so we use the midpoint instead. Yeah. All right, and the sum of all of that? Good to know. All right, so our mean, therefore, is what? And we sort of use a little like curly equal signs here. Why do you think we do that? Because it's an estimate. It's not accurate. No, it's an estimate. Which is? All right, now, does that look about right? Yeah, it's just measure of centre, right? It looks around the centre. You're all good. All right, last one. How do you find the median? So 13 plus 1 divided by 2, which is the 7th score. Where's the 7th score? In 10 to 19. Yes, median class, median group, one of those things. All right, any questions? All right, I'm going to be nice. I'm not going to do the extra bit I was going to do. We'll stop there. So can I borrow your 2C book? Your homework. You should be able to get it done in the next 20 minutes. Thanks. But I'm also going to get you to do your EPW. So your homework is Monday week. Yeah. So you need to do the EPW take-home section. I'll get it for you in a sec. You need to do... I did tell you you're going to get quite a bit of homework. You are going to get quite a bit of homework, okay? But it's easy homework. So page 2C book. Page 153. To 154. Actually, it's not as much as I thought it was. Questions 1 to 15. You can do all of them. You will need a calculator. Right? Yes. In a second. Just hang on a tick. All right, your EPW is due Monday week. So Monday the 29th. So it's the same day as the actual EPW. You'll be allowed it in your EPW. Okay?